The Daily Report starts now.
Confronting white supremacy. That was the topic at today's House Oversight Subcommittee hearing, but it didn't go exactly as planned for the Democrats. The committee heard testimony from different people on what they feel the issues are that negatively impact the African American community. A pair of witnesses testified that the major issue is white supremacy. They pointed to the Christchurch mosque shootings that killed 51 people earlier this year in New Zealand, and the shooter's manifesto they claimed contained white supremacist language. Candace Owens, a conservative activist, countered their testimony, saying that the manifesto also cited Spyro the Dragon and former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. She continued on to say this entire hearing on white supremacy is just another political ploy by the Democrats.
You would rather assign meaning to a homicidal maniac than to actually address the things that I said today that are actually harming Black America. Number one, father absence. Number two, the education system and the illiteracy rate. Illegal immigration ranks high, abortion ranks high, white supremacy and white nationalism, if I had to make a list again of 100 things, would not be on it.
I've seen him work miracles in my life. Work miracles in our life. You know, the devil presents so many flashy, shiny objects. I've seen everything that the devil could have showed you via TV, videos, car dealerships, jewelry, houses. And I tell you, nothing beats God. Nothing, and of sound mind. Nothing beats God. Nothing. Nothing. Let's not be concerned with the opinions of men at all. Only the opinion of God. Let's not be concerned with the validation of men at all. Only of God. To hold each.
I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
Like say shalom, giving all praises to Yahawashi. Also give a double honor to of GMS and honor to Akim, and peace and blessings to you brothers and sisters that listen, hopeful elect. Call Halayim, Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, man. Oh man, and this wasn't even a video I wanted to do. I wanted to do something else, but this has been the talk of the town on this Amber this woman who supposedly shot this Jake in his own home went on to receive 10 years in prison. And, you know, I showed other clips on these coons, man. You know, last week was Kanye West and his his born again Christianity. Niggas don't get it, man. And prior to that was Candace Owens, right? Some conservative politician who's telling you, Jakes, you know, that you shouldn't vote Democrat, you should vote Republican. You're both in the same vote. You're both in the same boat, man. Okay, they're both controlled opposition. Okay, they're both controlled by the Jewish bankers, man. Okay, the Republicans ain't gonna do you no justice. And what she said, white supremacy is not a part of the problem. Okay, all the problems it falls on the black man, right? She's a devil witch, man. And the Most High gonna put her to death, man. Okay? Just like in the this whole Amber situation, you know, the brother hugging her, the judge hugging her, the jury felt bad for her. The whole thing just looked staged, man. But at the end of the day, just show you how people's mindset, man. You're destroyed, man. And Yahawashi is gonna put you out your misery, man. Because we getting sick and tired of you niggas, man. Okay? Your affection for your enemy is disgusting, man. Okay, even Esau's confounded, man. Like, what is wrong with these niggas, man? Okay, you're coons, man. Uncle Tom's, boy. As I got that image up there, man. Uncle Tom's, man. Which means what? You're forever loyal to your master, man. Let me get some brief precepts. I'm definitely going to continue this on the highways and hedges. Going a little further, Lord willing. Because this is crazy, man. Like Joab told King David. This was after King David and his son Absalom had a civil war. And King David gave Joab an instruction to bring his son back alive. Which Joab didn't. Okay? Joab put Absalom to death. And David was sorrowful. And this is a famous quote what Joab told David. 2 Samuel 19:6. He said, and Joab came into the house of the king and said, Thou hast shamed this day the faces of all thy servants, which this day have saved thy life. Because we went to war for you, to get the kingdom back from your evil son Absalom. No. Let's read up further. But the king covered his face, King David, and the king cried with a loud voice, O my son Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son. And Joab came into the house of the king and said, Thou hast shamed this day the faces of thy servants, which this day have saved thy life, and the lives of thy sons and thy daughters, and the lives of thy wives, and the lives of thy concubines, and that thou lovest thine enemies and hatest thy friends. And this is what we're saying to 2/3, man. You love your enemies and you hate your friends, man. You hate yourselves, man. You hate your people, man. Self-hatred. For has declared this day, and that's mainly the point I want to get, man. He said, what? And thou lovest thine enemies and hatest thy friends. Okay, which King David was a man of the Lord. He was going through grief. But that quote can be applied to our people today, man. They love their enemies more than themselves, man. Okay? They're coons, man. See, man, this is why it's so important to do what we do, because we're the only ones that realize that we are in a spiritual war, man. It's a spiritual warfare, man. Okay, Jake is lost in the matrix, man. We're the freedom fighters, man. We're preaching liberation to our people, but they don't want it, man. They don't want the remedy, man. They want to remain in captivity and remain in slavery, man. And this is why Yahawashi is against y'all. He's against y'all, man. Okay? Let me get some brief examples. Oh my gosh. Let me read 2 Maccabees, the 4th chapter, because this examples of being coons is nothing new. All right? You had, during the time of the Greeks, you had a lot of our people that was conforming. Okay? We're going to go into some examples right now, some brief examples to the spirit of Yahawashi. I just want to do a brief video. Like I said, I'm going to continue on the highways and hedges on this topic, man. Okay? There's a lot of bread and circuses There's a lot of distractions. And one of those main distractions also, we see the Christianity, Kanye West's stupidity. Also, we see, this whole election thing, man. Jake is on, should we vote liberal or should we vote? Which, the Democrats has done a lot of evil to our people, man. Which I'm going to do another video on abortion because that's has been coming back up as well. Eugenics, man. We're going to the history on that through the power of Yahawashi, man. Go edifying, man. Okay? We got to use this internet while it's still up to edify and teach, man. Okay? This is what we're supposed to be doing as men, man. A lot of these dudes, a lot of these other fake ass groups, talking about how to have a family, man. Why the hell will you have a family in this wicked ass place, man? Okay, which is turning out little kids, man. This place is a prison, man. And you see Jake's mindset. All right, let me read this 2 Maccabees, the 4th chapter. Okay, we preaching the downfall of this society. We read the 2 Maccabees chapter 4. I'll jump to some points. And 2 Maccabees, first and 2 Maccabees is a lot of history, but it's important history because it shows you how we got Hellenized, okay, which is following Greek customs. But anyway, let me read 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse. Let me see. Let me jump up. It says Jason, which he was a Tom, okay. He was a high priest. Then, if I could remember the story, Melanius took over because Jason he had to flee. All right, but pretty much what he was doing. Let me read 2 Maccabees 4 verse 9. It says 7. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest, promising unto the king intercession, so that we know the high priest is the leader of the people at that time. 303 talents of silver and revenue 80 talents. Beside this, he promised, which Onias was a righteous priest. He was against the Hellenization. Okay. All right. But he got slew by the governor. I think Andronicus. Okay. I can't remember that. History is a very deep history. But Jason, who was a Tom, he said, promising unto the king my intercession 303 talents of silver and another revenue 80 talents. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have a license to set up a place of exercise and of training of the youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write unto Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus. So, read on, which when the king had granted, he had got in his hand, the rule he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion. A high priest, man. A high priest, man, who's supposed to be at that time the mediator between you and the Most High. Okay? He was turning his own nation to the Greekish fashion, basically to sell out to the white man back then. And you best to believe them niggas are back today, man. To be a bunch of sellouts, man. Okay? And he had them raised up in the Greekish fashions. That's how people became Hellenized. And even when you go into the history, let me read 14, that the priests had no courage any serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple. Jason, verse 13, let me 13. Now such was the height of Greek fashions and increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch and no high priest, that the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple. So he caused the other priests to go off and to despise the temple and neglect the sacrifices, hasten to be partakers of their lawful allowance in the place of exercise after the game of discus called them forth. Right, but you know that game where they throw the disc, or they throw the ball today. Okay, they were doing that. Goes back to the Greeks, man. But who caused the young men and the other priests to go off? A leader of the people, man. Jason. Okay. not saddened by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. See? So we had this folly going on back then in Israel, man. Wicked Israelites selling out, man. Okay? But what's going to happen to men like Jason and the rest of you coons? Okay? Because that's what y'all are. Y'all want to remain in Esau's ways, remain in his religion. You keep loving your master, man. Okay, the scripture says, love not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, man. Choose none of his ways, man. We're against that, man. All right? That's why I'm going to read this first Maccabees chapter 2, verse 19. See, in all glory to Yahawashi, we broken that spell. Mentally, man. We know who we are now, man. We're free. Our people, man, they want to keep this prison going, okay? And we know that prison is America. That's why this place is also known as Egypt, okay? The house of bondage. But what's going to happen to y'all? Okay, I'm not going to go too long this lesson. I'm going to get straight to the point. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 19. Death to you coons, man. All right? First Maccabees 2:19. So this is when the Maccabees rose up, okay? Which are the elect men. Let me read. This is when Matthias came as the father of the Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 12. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. 14. Then Matthias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourned very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice unto their pagan gods, to the Grecians. And when many of Israel came unto them, Matthias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Matthias on this wise, Thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem, so shall thy house be number of the king's friends. Basically telling them, like what Jason did, sell the hell out, man. Because he was a leader. And this is how Esau controls our people today. It's through the leadership. And you take it further down, through these so-called preachers and pastors who underneath 501c3 charters. That's how they control you, man. All right? So white supremacy has always been a part of the problem. Okay? It works in many different forms, man. All right? And she knows that, man. See, but these politicians, they don't give two shits about you, man. They're liars, man. They're trained liars. All right. It says, so shall thy house be numbered in the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. And that's what Matthias said. Then Matthias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's domain obey him, and fall every one of them from the religion of their fathers, give consent to his commandments. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the commandment of our fathers. The Most High forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words, and that's us today. We not conforming to the ways of this society, and we are not coming together with our enemies, man. It's not going to happen, man. To go from our religion, either on the right hand or on the left. And this will happen. This was going to happen to the you 2/3, man. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice unto altar. So this guy, he conformed to the ways of the Greeks, which was at Modin according to the king's commandment. Which thing when Matthias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. Okay? And he said, well, also the king's commission who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. So he killed that nigga who tried to sacrifice to a Greek god. The officer, the king commissioner who told him you should get you and your men to sacrifice to the king, he killed him too. And he pulled down the altar, man. Brakta Yahawashi, man. Okay. All right? And that's the spirit we in right now. And that's what Yahawashi is raising up. And this is going to happen to our people. Read the Isaiah the 13th chapter. The ones of our people who don't get down, this is what's going to happen to you. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14. And it shall come to pass as a chase roe. Okay? You other nations are going to get chased. All right? Starting with Esau. And as a sheep that no man taketh up. Then shall every man turn to his own people, race war, and flee everyone to his own land. These heathens, they're going to leave this place. All right? Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, man. It's going to be chaos out here, death on every side, man. Race riots. All right? And the Most High can raise up his elect men. And every one that is joined unto them, the 2/3, man, you coons, you Uncle Toms, okay? You Uncle Tomahawks. Okay, you Latinos who think you're Esau, every one of them that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword, man. You're going to die, man. Okay, you're going to go down with it, man. Brakta Yahawashi, man. So you can hug your master all you want to. Both of you going to go down together. All right? With that, I'm going to say, Kahalayim Yahawashi, the water, Aman.